Hi, I'm Edgar Hernandez.
And I'm Nuri Robles. And this is
Bar Talking Bar.
Your access to the heartbeat of New York City's bar and hospitality scene.
Hosted straight from the city that never sleeps, we sit down with bartenders, brands and ambassadors, hospitality pros, and cocktail lovers.
Whether it's the art of bartending, the hustle behind hospitality, or the wildest bar tales, expect raw conversations and industry secrets.
Listen to the people who pour your favorite cocktails and keep the nightlife alive.
If you love bars, spirits, and the stories that bring them to life, follow us, share, and subscribe to keep the conversations flowing.
The podcast that you didn't know you need.
New episodes weekly. Hello. Here back at
Bar Talking Bar.
I'm Nuri Robles.
And I'm Edgar Hernandez. This is your favorite podcast by now.
Forever and
ever. I just want to start by shouting out, sending, saying hi to everyone who's listening to us and who has been watching us on YouTube. It's an honor for us to be part of your day. If you're driving, if you're running, if whatever you're doing, or if you want to learn a little bit of what we're doing, thank you for the support. But without further ado, we would love to introduce our guest of the day, celebrating Dry January, but we also want to know the person behind the bottle. Secrets. Actually, Nuri, would you help me introduce our friend?
One, two, three.
Chelsey
Andreasen.
And then we're going to celebrate with a round of applause.
Yes.
Applause to you guys for doing this. This is awesome.
Thank you so much, Chelsey, for coming. It is really, really an honor for us to have you here. We want to know a little bit of Agrestis, the non-alcoholic version. I know there's another version with Amaros. But since we are celebrating Dry January, why not talk about that? But first, we want to know who Chelsey is.
Please.
Oh, in a nutshell, really. With hospitality, something that I've been in since I was 15, actually, but didn't expect to make a career out of it. Granted, so happy that it's happened. Was working as a cast member, actually, at a friend's museum. It was an old car museum, but they had events there. So that was kind of my foray into it. It was the friend owned the place, friends with my parents, I should say, gave me the job. And I was like, okay, this is cool. Worked at Cold Stone Creamery in high school, which was, another foray into hospitality. As we were talking a little bit before this, it's you greet a guest immediately when they're tipping. We're singing a song.
Yeah, Cold Stone, it was famous for that.
I don't know if they still do the sing song.
The Bubba Gum used to do that. They used to do backflip also.
What?
Back in the day, I don't know about
I've
that.
been to
now.
Bubba Gum, but I didn't see a backflip.
Oh no, I've seen it.
Wow, I wonder if it became a liability.
Probably.
I don't know. But that's pretty cool. Kind of something that, I was always a part of, but went to college in Tampa, Florida for theater performance. Thought, maybe acting, stand-up comedy.
Wow, I love the stand-up comedy. So maybe we can practice.
I have written a good amount of stuff, but, a lot of comedians have, a lot of insecurity and fears, and I'm kind of one of those, so scared myself out of that a little bit. And I don't know if you're familiar with Mitch Hedberg, amazing comedian, no longer with us, but he was definitely, terrible fear up on stage, hair in the face, glasses on, quick one-liners, but he was hilarious. But I definitely connected with that part of him that was very shy, even though he was on stage.
I know that you want to learn Spanish, and that reminds me, we have a very good stand-up comedy in Mexico. His name, I forgot his name, but his last name is Vallarta, and he also...
Carlos Vallarta.
Carlos Vallarta, thank you. He has a long hair, and he wears glasses. So, and he loves American stand-up, so maybe he got it from there, but I'm going to check it up, and I'm going to send you the link so you can watch that.
Definitely.
Super cool.
Please do. Please do. Yeah, that would be, I love checking.
A little.
I wonder if, I may already know the comedian, too. Now I'm going to have to check and see if I have actually seen their stand-up before. I like to stay up with that a little bit. It's even though I'm like, oh, is it too late for me? And I have such a passion for the hospitality industry at this point, but always cool to check out other, and I think it's kind of related because there's a lot of psychology behind stand-up comedy. We have to, learn a lot about how to respond to different people and, gauge different guests. And do they want us to talk to them a bunch? Do they not want that? So, there's obviously a lot of layers and similarities and all of that.
Right.
But yeah, so I was majoring in theater performance. And then I was like, let me change my major to business management. And then I was like, this is too much math. I don't like math. So then I changed my major.
I'm one of those.
Yeah. We're both lefties and we both don't like math.
Yes, luckily, now what I'm thinking, I didn't like math, but we do math every single day.
We do. I mean, so many conversions. I mean, from ounces to mLs or whatever it may be, and figuring out batching in large quantities. And luckily, that part, I think that's as far as I really enjoyed it was algebra. So luckily, I could handle all of that. But beyond that, and so business management had calculus, and I was like, I'm out. Oh. So then I did public relations and marketing, which I was like, okay, I love it here. This is really cool. Wanted to maybe work for a nonprofit, PR, because I've always wanted to help people. But, it was very hard to get into public relations. Most of those jobs were not what they seemed. Mm-hmm. So stayed in the hospitality industry while, after college.
This was also in Florida.
Yeah, this was in Tampa, Florida. Mm-hmm. Ended up managing at a semi-fine dining restaurant. And it was cool, but I was seeing what the bartenders were making. And it's not all about money, but the bartenders were, making substantially more than I was making as a salaried manager, front of house manager, and working like half the hours. And this was more about quality of life at that point. And I was like, what they're doing is cool and fun. So I was like, okay, let me step back, which I don't even know if it's technically really a step back, but was like, okay, I want to, go into bartending, which I couldn't do there. So I got a serving job. And when I interviewed, I was like, hey, I want to bartend. So if there's ever an opening. And they really were impressed with me as a server. So they came to me and they said, hey, we know you want to bartend. And they gave me the chance. And that was kind of the big foray, and I was, it was so amazing that they gave me that opportunity. And I loved it. It was so creative. I met people in Tampa that were winning competitions. Shout out to Brenda Terry. She was a Bombay Sapphire finalist for Most Creative Bartender.
Oh, okay.
In 2015 or something like this.
I was actually going to ask you the year of this happening.
Let's see if I moved to the city in 2016. So I met her in 2015. So she was either a finalist, maybe 2014, maybe the year before, but somewhere right around there. She kind of showed me a world of super nerdy, techniques and bartending. And I was like, okay, this is really cool. Like, I have mad respect. And then I had an opportunity to move to New York City. I did get very lucky. I had a bedroom waiting for me when I moved here. So I was like, no questions asked, moved up with a friend that I knew. And a friend in Tampa had set me up with a job. Shout out to Jessica. There's a lot of shout outs I think I'm going to give today.
Please, let's do that.
This is the moment.
And also because, I think that's one of the amazing things about this industry as well. Like when we have support friends or we have also mentors, and that's very helpful.
Or a friend of a friend. It's also a friend.
Exactly. So I got jobs. Erin Reese hired me. She had never met me before. But Leo DeGroff, who had also never met me, heard from a friend in Tampa that I was looking for a job. So Leo DeGroff was like, hey, Erin, hire this human. And Erin Reese hired me and took a chance on me.
Cool. So,
amazing humans.
Shout out to Erin Reese as well.
Shout out to Erin. Shout out to Leo.
Boss lady.
Yes. She also, I'll mention her again, but she also helped me get my foray into sales. Okay. But Jessica Wohlers, which I don't know if you guys ever got to meet her, she's been in Tampa a bunch, but she's also lived in New York City. So we were in Tampa at the same time, and she was just semi-regular at my bar, and also got me my very first job in New York City before Leo and Erin at the Starlight off of Grand Street. I don't know if you know the Starlight.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sister spot to Bushwick Country Club. That was my very beginning. Loved it. I got to work with Karen Stanley, who now runs Tatiana, Chef Kwame Spot,
in Brooklyn.
Frank Cisneros, who is, brilliant. So I got to work with all these cool cats in a dive bar in Williamsburg and learn a ton of things. So that was really awesome.
How do you feel? How was your first days in New York coming from Tampa?
I don't even think I really thought about it.
Yeah.
I didn't process it. It was just kind of I'm here. It's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't really hit me as I mean, I definitely thought it was cool, and I was having fun and meeting a ton of people, and the access to education in New York City is, as you know, unbelievable. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And Tampa has a lot of initiatives and is doing cool stuff, and they're certainly, not even really behind, but, we're just very lucky here to have the access that we do.
Yes, we are.
So I definitely, felt like, okay, my growth is so much more rapid here, and I recognize that, but yeah, it didn't hit me. I was like, how big of a deal it was to move to New York City and just kind of dive into the scene head first. I don't think I really realized how I was surrounded by such geniuses until it was down the road.
The funny thing is, now you see it, you find that looking back a couple of years even, and then people who's doing great things now for the industry or within the industry, it's mind blowing sometimes. To me also, I've been in the industry for a while, seeing people who I worked with years ago, owning a bar, owning a restaurant, running different projects, and I'm like, wow, that's, to me, that's uplifting. Not for me only, because I say, oh, I work with this guy. I know that I'm at the same level too, in that way, because sometimes we pull back with we're timid in order for us to say it. And it's not being oh, I want to be considerate, my ego is up high. No, but you have to understand that this business is for the ones who want to push and grow and go forward and do competitions, whatnot, move around. But at the same time, the education is the most important part for this. If you don't know what you're doing, it's good to learn to understand it. That's a great idea. Then you came back to New York, and coming back to New York, you say you had it you didn't think about it. But were you exploring New York when you came, or were you just working?
I did get to explore. I met people who were like, you got to see this bar, you have to see this place. Death & Co. was huge at the time. I remember being introduced to Death & Co. And I was like, looking at that back bar, like, oh my gosh.
How many bottles?
This is insane. And the amount of cocktails that they're memorizing and the specs and the details, it's a true craft, as you guys know. And I was, very impressed with, being taken around and just getting to see a different side of hospitality and even with the education down to, I think here they're teaching us how to manage our money. And there's a lot of more wellness programs. A lot of brands would pay for us to do a Soul Cycle class and not even talk about the brands. And I'm like, oh my gosh, they care about our mental health. That's amazing. And,
Which, I feel like also, working in this industry for a while as well, seeing these changes, it's very, very... it's amazing because, there was a time that we didn't have laws for tips or for pay hours, or the owners or the company didn't care about just come and work. There is a lot of memes that, you were sick and they were like, I'm in the hospital. And the meme will be the manager.
You're still coming, right?
Are you still coming? Yeah. So,
I mean, and I've definitely been in those situations where they're like, yeah, we don't care that you're sick, come into work. And I'm like, but doesn't that mean everyone else is going to potentially get sick?
Yeah.
So, I've had some interesting experiences as well, but overall seemed so much good. Right. From people in this industry. Hallelujah,
Yeah.
There's always a little sweet and sour, right? And, learning and growing from every experience.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was down the road that I was really kind of, it hit me that this was as momentous as it was growing in New York City. I'm like, this is obviously one of the meccas for bartending, so we're very lucky to be able to have the access we do here. Mm-hmm. I mean, so yeah, from the Starlight, one of the owners there was like, okay, you're amazing, and I don't want you to leave here, but I also think you could cut your chops at other places. He introduced me to the owner of Jupiter Disco, which I don't know if you guys ever got to go to Jupiter Disco, yes. And I don't know. I don't even know if it still exists. I heard it might not.
I can't. I don't remember.
We pass a lot by, but yeah. I'm not sure if it's still there. I'm sorry.
I think it was open. I haven't been there for a long time. They just opened a place next to it. I can't remember. Red Pavilion.
Oh, yeah, so, that's right. That's right. But yeah, so if you got to go to Jupiter Disco, anyone else out there that you got to go, Also Tank and Max, oh my God, now I'm going to mess up his last name because I always mispronounced it. And he was like, you really don't know how to pronounce my last name? And in my mind, it's still the wrong pronunciation. and I know it's wrong, so I'm not even going to mess it up. But Al and Max, again, they also took a chance on me. I was working under Al and Aaron at the same time, which was kind of cool to see. Very similar, but very different styles because they actually worked at Death & Co. together. So, yeah, I just was so lucky to work under so many amazing people. And then Crown Shy, pre-pandemic, worked there.
Wow.
I think the biggest pinch me moment was they sent me to Athens, Greece with Harrison.
Oh, wow.
We got to speak at the Athens Bar Show. We had a whole, seminar. I mean, people are, having us translated in real time into Greek. And I'm like, oh, my God, this is huge.
Wow.
Did guest bartending shifts over there. One was the Clumsies, which was number 3 in the world at the time.
Okay.
I think that was I was like, oh, this is a big deal what we're doing. And they sent me over here. So I was like, that was my first time I ever traveled for work, was internationally to Greece. I was like, oh my God, that was when I was like, okay, this is
happening.
I was like, this is a big deal. This is when I fully appreciated it.
And during that time, did you also were thinking about your degree of when I'm going to do PR?
I mean, at that point, I was kind of no, yeah, I was more thinking where I could take hospitality for sure. Once I moved here to continue bartending and grow in bartending, I was like, and I was like, maybe I could even bartend forever because you really see how much, a lot of people don't realize it can be a career. The hospitality folks listening, they know, but people outside of that. And my family always supported and respected it. But I think they were also like, is it going to be forever? Yes. Supportive as they were. And when my mom came here, she's like, oh, my God, you're doing, this is insane. This is next level stuff. But, people don't really get it unless you're in it.
Yes.
And so, yeah, I think I even thought I could bartend forever. Then my body started to fall apart. Get good shoes. Good shoes. Take care of your body.
Take a massage.
Do it, because I did not. I ended up with tennis elbow, plantar fasciitis in my feet. I was like, I love this, but I gotta.
Yeah, you gotta take it slow, especially if you do it more than 5 times a week. If you're working 2-3 hours, you're gonna probably end up doing 7 shifts, and that's a lot of hours, a lot of shaking, a lot of hours being standing, and you need to release also that stress. It's
so true. I mean, I was working at one point. I was working at 3 bars, 6 days a week. Well, you get that hustle. You first moved to New York City. I was at Jupiter Disco. I was at Basic, which another RIP amazing bar that was just off the Graham stop. And gosh, I think I was at Happiest Hour at the same time.
Oh wow.
And a lot of these bars, as 2 shifts a week is all you can get. So I was like, okay, I'll take 2 shifts here, 2 shifts here. I'm just going to go. Network, and and a lot of those shifts are 10, 12 hours. Yeah. Because I worked at, some places didn't have a manager. It was the owner who would pop by, and then you as the bartender have the keys. You're doing the money at the end of the night.
You're the cook.
So you're basically the manager.
Yeah.
Person manager.
Yeah.
Person manager. Yeah.
So you're there for 12 hours. You're doing the whole shift.
Were you working with still bars were open until 4 a.m.?
Yes. Which, Jupiter Disco was 4 a.m. And when I was there, it was perfect timing. I loved it. I would get out of there at 5 a.m. and I was fine. But then, I was there for 2.5 years and I was like, okay, maybe I need to cut it back, and find a bar that closes earlier. So every bar after that, my last job was at a steakhouse and they closed at midnight, or really the last sitting was at 11. So I was, because I was like, I can't do 4 a.m. anymore. Loved it. It was fun while I did it.
It takes a toll on your body too, now that you're saying you're standing for a long period of time, shaking cocktails or building cocktails all night long. By the time you're closing at 7 a.m., so you really don't get enough rest, because during the day there's more noise. There's a lot of things going on, or you might have to run to a appointment or whatever, and you basically sleep between hours. Yeah. And you get tired, and your body takes it if you do it for a very long time.
Yeah. I mean, I know you guys know. You guys have.
I've done it. I've
been doing it for years and years, and done all the positions as well. And, you guys have come through it. So, yeah, definitely, I think if my biggest takeaway today for everyone is, look out for your body, because, and you're hustling and you want to crush it and you want to grow, but then, you don't think about it. And so I do always warn the young ones. I'm like, don't burn out. I was like, I get it. I did it. And I don't think they want to hear it, because, they're like, shut up, old timer.
Nobody.
Listen to the wise. Listen to the wise, girl, guys. I say young guys.
Please.
I'm still, young too.
We're still very young, but we're not in our 20s anymore.
Yeah, no, of course, yeah. You're right.
I am.
She's
My girl. Yes.
I too.
Nuri's like, don't speak for me.
I'm still in my 20s. I'm still underage. Hey, hello.
I wish.
I can't bring alcohol. I'm bringing the Pony Negroni.
Right. No, there's no alcohol here. I'm not getting in trouble for serving anyone underage. That was a big thing too. I was a stickler for IDs. Don't overserve.
Exactly, and also,
but still fun, super fun, but safe. Yeah,
you have to make
serve
it
safe.
And also the two things that we see here in New York a lot is 21 years. You can't drink if you're under. But in other countries, if you go and you're 18, you can drink. You can basically hang out. It doesn't mean that you cannot hang out, but you can. You're able to drink a cocktail, proper cocktail. But also, when I was that age, I wasn't really, worried about, this cocktail has to have all these ingredients. Now, you kind of think more about it and kind of deconstruct the cocktail in your brain because you want to be nerdy like that, right? But you learn this behind the bar. And then you time behind the bar, creating these cocktails, creating all these emotions for other people. I always want to ask that, how is the part that your personal emotions share that kind of hospitality? What I'm trying to say, I guess, is when you take care of a guest sitting in front of you during the time you were behind the bar, is that what's that feel like? Because for other people, it's I want to make cocktails, get ready. But for others, hi, how are you? The whole experience is your personality. It's not what you're serving as much, but it's also what you are, connecting with the person for 1 second.
I agree. I don't think robots can replace us. I mean, in the technical part, maybe, sure, but as far as making a connection, there's nothing that can replace that, and there's a lot to be said for it. I mean, I think I love that it's different every time. If someone maybe comes in that wants to learn about what we're doing and wants to ask a ton of questions about the technicalities, they may not know what a fat wash is or a milk punch. I think that's extremely rewarding to teach someone something. Or someone may teach me something. Someone may come in and, not be in the hospitality industry or in the hospitality industry, and we'll get it to chatting, and they'll impart some wisdom and knowledge on me. So I think it's just, I love how different it is every time. I've met so many people from so many walks of life. Someone may just be having a really bad day, and maybe we don't talk that much, but I send them out, and it doesn't always have to be something for free. But maybe I just do a nice little touch of just, something extra that they weren't expecting and change their whole day and put a smile on their face. And, people will be like, you don't know how much that means. So I think just getting to connect with people and with many people in an hour. I don't have to go anywhere, right? I'm in my spot.
Yeah.
People are coming to me and, they can choose anywhere to go, but they've chose that space, that experience. So I think, just getting to teach them a little bit about that space, it's nice.
I feel like, I try not to be picky, and I many people knows me because I feel like sometimes I'm picky, but I'm not. It's just like
selective.
I'm selective. No, but also I feel like when you go out, it you don't want to cook or you don't want to make a drink at your home, so you just take the time to go to these places. And sometimes for me, it's kind of like, if you work in a restaurant, you don't have to put a red carpet for anyone. But, I mean, I understand also that this is probably not your career, but you choose to work there. And sometimes it's very uncomfortable, just having a server who's like, okay, here's your menu. And just go back and not even having not forcing to smile to people, but the energy that you transmit, it passes to the guests. So, and that creates a little bit of service when people say I want to tip because I feel and that's the change of I will ask to anyone who's working is your problems are your problems, and maybe you can talk to someone, but at the same time it's just think about how you feel when you go other places too. So how you want to feel treat also your guests like that.
So true. Also, going back, don't say you're picky. I think you know what you want, and I would much rather have a guest who knows what they want. If they come in and say, I don't like this, I'm like, that's amazing. You just made my life so easy. So if you can, come in and, you know, lay out what you like, that's not picky. That's just someone who knows what they like. And I think that's fantastic.
That's what I will say, yeah.
And unless a guest is an insanely rude, inappropriate human being, it takes a lot. And I think we should all, we need to have a thick skin in this industry, right? If someone does come in and they're absolutely miserable, I feel bad for them. I'm like, that sucks that they had such a bad day. And I hope that they leave here feeling better, and maybe they don't want me to say anything to them at all, but maybe just keeping their water full will make them happy or whatever it may be, which thank you so much, by the way.
Yeah, it's just more gestures.
Star service, But, I think those little things. And, it's all about, at the end of the day, we're there for many reasons, but we're also here to make money, right?
Exactly,
we have a job so we can pay our bills and keep the roof over our heads. So why am I not going to do the best I can do and make the most money I can make for everyone? Because everywhere, it's a pool tip house pretty much everywhere now. So, if I'm going to show up and I'm going to do it, which I say shout out to my dad. He's like, if you're going to do something, do it to the best of your ability. Don't half-ass anything. Otherwise, what's the point,
Yes. You have to do it with, if you don't have that much of a passion for it, but like you say, always treat people well, but and it's also very simple because I always say, you only say, hi, how are you? Goodbye. Because always remember to say goodbye to your guests. I think that's very important because when you don't say thank you and goodbye, they're just walking away, and you don't want that. You want them to remember the moment they walked in, they sat at the bar, and the moment they're walking out. Just like, you have to thank them for being there, part of it, whatever experience they had. And also because all of us working in the service industry in this some particular room, whether you're a barback or bartender or bartender, we all get rewarded, by the tip amount. And also that's our personality. Shout out to everyone who's bartending tonight and tomorrow.
Yes, yeah. But and I feel bad as a guest because it's been so ingrained to me to always say goodbye. Like if I'm a guest at a bar, I feel bad if I don't say goodbye when I leave. Like I don't want to thank the bartender for their service, whether we made a connection or not. Just, thanks for having me. Thanks for letting me take up a seat at your bar. Because, a lot of, especially in New York City, as we know, it's prime real estate everywhere. So if you get a seat at a bar, I always just, thank you so much. It was a night, you come back, maybe they remember you, maybe not.
That's how you build your regulars too. Because that's, like I found out those little kind of words help a lot. And they come often, they see your bar. Maybe it was that one drink, that they don't have to get, 10 drinks and a full meal and spend thousands of dollars. No, you just come have a drink and that's it. We have to keep things simple for other people to make it, simple as the thing. I don't know what the words are, but it's simple. It's not rocket science.
And there are places they have staples, you can go, like Edgar said, just for one drink because that drink makes Chelsey made it for me, and just go back there and conversation with you, and so
that actually made me think of my first bartending job in Tampa, and they all knew I was just started, and we had neighborhood regulars who were just champions and would be like, have you make something off the riff, off the cuff, and then they'd come back the next week and be like, can you make that again or something, and they were just such champions. So I think that's another experience that I really loved is I would make these great relationships, and these people were some of them still follow me, and when they come to New York, they'll be like, oh my God, they would still come to my bars when I was up until I was, not bartending anymore. But I think that was so cool just to have people.
You just reminded me of something. I've seen that a lot with bartenders and the bartenders who are just starting. And sometimes you have that help in a way of those guests coming back and hey, I want to see that person back again. And then you come back, or they come back, or you're not working, and they ask for your name. And that's uplifting because, oh, wow, they like my drinks, and I'm a new up-and-coming bartender. So I want, it fills you up,
It really does.
I can do better. I can improve. Yes, they like me. So
exactly.
Because
we all had to start somewhere, right?
Exactly.
I made a Long Island iced tea with iced tea once because I did not know. And that guest drank it. I don't know if they knew that I had completely done this entirely wrong. I didn't know it until months later.
Sorry.
Months later. It's hilarious, right?
It happens.
And then I was like, someone made the Long Island iced tea, and they're like, yeah, Coca-Cola. And I'm like, I was like, it's not iced tea. And they're like, no.
Did I give her an Arnold Palmer?
And I'm like, well, then why is it in the name? What do you want from me? But, we all had to start somewhere. We all had to learn. And, I definitely made plenty of mistakes. And so for people to give me the chance and grow with me, it's been really cool.
See, industry secrets.
Yeah, that's pretty... you know what? I'm not embarrassed. I'm not ashamed.
No.
It happened. Yeah. It's hilarious.
I think that's the part. Yes, it's hilarious because it happens. It can happen to the best of us, honestly, because sometimes you haven't made a cocktail for a very long time, and then you come and then like, can I get a Bucharest? I was like, what's a Bucharest?
That's funny that you say that. It's my favorite drink. Well, one of them.
Yeah, but like, oh, can I get a Rob Roy? Like people who haven't had a Rob Roy ever and who are just listening to these names for the very first time, as a bartender, you're like, what?
But also, I feel like, sometimes you can be good at many things, and that doesn't mean that, technically, there's places that you are supposed to know 150 cocktails, but sometimes it's very hard. You can be still like good worker, but sometimes you need that opportunity to learn those 150 cocktails.
And even, if you forget, like, you could have everything down, but you could be like, oh, is it a 3/4 ounce lemon or half ounce lemon? Like, you're right there. And obviously that 1/4 ounce makes a huge difference in how dry the cocktail is. Like, we know it is technical, and you do have to follow those exact specs and nuances. But 150 drinks, and you could be like, oh, the Corpse Reviver number 2.
Yeah.
I'm right there, but is it,
Is it the number 1 or the number 2?
The number 1 I definitely don't have down. I feel like number 2 has always been... But or a Blood and Sand, for goodness sake.
Yes.
People like to shame that cocktail, but that one person's going to come in and drink it, and no one's ordered it in forever, but... And I also don't hate it, by the way, but I like a lot of stuff that people hate.
I don't hate it. I like it.
I think it's cool. But anyhow, you just might not have that because no one ever asked for it.
But if that's what you like, that's what you'd like, Like if I want a Coke, liquid. If I want to try a Diet Coke.
Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola.
Let's call it Coca-Cola.
If I like to drink a Coke that one night, or if I want to drink lemonades, like, it's up to you. Like, whatever you want to drink, it's your choice, It's what you're going to take. Nobody's going to be forcing you, like, oh, wow, it's a group of my 5 bros, and they all want 5 beers, and I'm not drinking. They're not going to be like, hey, you have to drink a beer with us because you have to. I'm like, no.
But, so let me ask
Not
you.
our friends.
Not our friends.
But some people will shame people for girly drinks and stuff.
Shots.
Oh, girly cups or glasses.
Some of those guests, I'm like, what do you? We won't get into the tip, but I'm like, what do you consider girly? But anyhow,
but my question for you would be, so you as a bartenders, you have a guest that just got there and sits at your bar, asking for a Coca-Cola, but then it's half an hour late. And he still have a little bit. Obviously, I know that you go and do you want something else? Like, how do you move that person, because you will also need that seat? So how do you manage that?
Well, it depends. If it's one person, I think they're going to drink the drink, and it doesn't matter, because I think most bars have an hour to 2 hour time window. So you can't really say, hey, you're not drinking your Coke fast.
Go.
If there's 4 people, it's different because it's a conversation. People drink more. I guess it depends, but also depends on the policies of the place, because you can't really have to ask somebody. They're your guests for one reason.
Right, how much space do you have? I worked at places where we had almost like an extra area, so we could easily be like, we would just offer them an extra round on us. We'd be like, hey, so sorry to ask you to move, but if we get your next round on us, can we get you over here? We have to get these seats back. So that was always an easy out. People are not going to be mad at an extra round. I worked at another spot where we did have the 2-hour policy if we were full on reservations. We weren't just going to kick people out after 2 hours if no one else was coming in, of course. But then you just have to be, I think, super aware. If you're going to tell someone with a 5-minute warning, that's not cool. They're like, I don't have time to mentally prepare. So I would always just make sure I gave people at least not really more than, but always a 30-minute heads up. That way if they want to order another round, they can. They're not surprised. I'm not just suddenly kicking them out. So I think communication and, like you said, treat people how you would want to be treated. You wouldn't want to be abruptly told to get the F out, you know? So, you know, I think just try to communicate as best as possible if you do have those policies in place, but also offering free stuff, which I don't think we should make it got to be a little bit too much of a crazy habit. But it is a helpful way. It's a really helpful tool. Yeah, and it usually doesn't cost the house that much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it depends on the day also. Because, I mean, if you have a Monday and you really need the space, but versus a Friday and a Saturday night when, you know, it's booked, then, you know, you had to play with the time and you know, I don't know. I mean, he's probably waiting for a table. Who knows, you know? But, yeah, and I'm glad she asked this question because I don't think we say that as much out loud. Yeah, I think, yes, prime real estate, it's within the seats, yes, of course, but also you have to think that but the person is there, you know, waiting for something. Somehow maybe he's reading, checking his Instagram stories and watching this on YouTube or on Instagram.
Or while you're watching, you're subscribing to this podcast as well.
That's right. See?
You know, get distracted.
That's how we do it. And then also if you guys are watching us on YouTube, subtitles on English, Spanish, Dutch, Roman, and whatever you guys are, your languages are. We speak Spanish, so the Spanish speaker. There's also Spanish there. You know, I had to tell them because they have to listen to us.
Please.
No, please do.
Yeah, so you were going to ask another question. I forgot.
No, I was going to ask Chelsey, like, so you moved to Florida, you did your dive bars, I guess, like more structured bars. How do you start moving from bartending to brands?
I think a lot of ways that kind of help me do that. One, just having a good network, which, you know, I mentioned has helped a lot, but I was letting everyone know, like, hey, I'm looking to transition. So I was speaking to all of my friends that were in brand work, which I'm very lucky to have actually watched a ton of people that used to bartend. Like you were saying as well, like we've seen all these people move up and grow and either open up their own bars or move into, you know, or even start their own products. It's, you know, been so cool. So, yeah, I just kind of did a ton of networking, speaking with people. And then Erin Reese, who is working with chartreuse and a ton of spirits, one of them being Agua Mágica, said there was an opening for this position with Agua Mágica, and she connected me with the owner there. And, you know, shout out to Rafa at Agua Mágica. He took a chance on me. And so, but it did take like 2 years of me trying to get out from behind the bar. You know, so it wasn't a quick process. And a lot of education, I would say, as well, has really helped. I've been lucky to do W set up to level 2, which was paid for by another brand. That was during the pandemic. So, you know, and again...
Can you explain what is that?
Yeah, so definitely. WSET is wine and spirits education training. It is a global situation. And they do have a wine-focused side and a spirits-focused side. So during the pandemic, when we had nothing better to do, one of the brands was like offered to pay for bartenders to get more education. So also a great thing if you guys ever, you know, do have downtime. Like we were saying, education is so clutch. And I got to do level 1 and level 2 paid by them. So I was just, you know, trying to really grow my knowledge in all spirits. You know, I knew the basics. We know, you know, all vodkas and all spirits are gluten-free, and we know that. But, you know, to really dive into distillation process, the difference between, you know, a pot still, continuous still, you know, just kind of really toned all of that up and networked like crazy. And then someone took a chance. But that was kind of the big kind of catalyst.
And when you started with this brand, Agua Mágica, you started as a part-time and then you moved into full-time, or did you start a full-time immediately?
Did start part-time, actually. So, and that was kind of cool. I managed to be able to still work 2 nights a week bartending and dip my toes in, learn, you know, kind of what the whole brand side was about. I had been observing friends for years. Mm-hmm. I never thought I'd want to do sales. I actually thought I'd want to move into like consultant work or beverage director. I was like, there's no way I'm going to do that. I just don't think, you know, that I have the chops for it. But then I was like observing and I was like, okay, this is actually sounds like a really cool challenge and a great way to nerd out. The fact that they do staff education is, you know, was a big draw for me as well, because that was a big part of why I stayed in bartending is, again, I always put it in quotes like nerdiness. Mm-hmm. So I was like, oh my gosh, I can teach people about the spirit and I can, you know, help other people grow. So that was, you know, a big, big draw for me. But I just got really, really lucky that someone decided to take the chance. And
But I mean, obviously, like I feel like lucky. It's a good word to say, but also it comes with like you were ready for it. Like you were prepared. I mean, you study PR. You kind of like have that actor of like, I want to be in front of people. And also, working at the bars, it gives you the opportunity to know how to read a room or how to read a person, how to talk to persons. So it's not lucky. You are a prepared person.
You were ready. You were ready for the challenge, like you said. So how long did you stay with the brand before moving to?
Was with Agua Magica about a year.
Mm-hmm.
And, would have loved to have stayed with, nothing but love for them. But, the world is crazy. Tariffs are not helping anyone. Had made the transition after a year to St. Agrestis, Phony Negroni. But yeah, still nothing but love to have gotten my start with Agua Magica. And yes, starting part-time, them, seeing that I can do this and I can, get the product not only in bars, but in cocktails and things like that, and moving into full-time with them. So grateful for that. Because, then it led me to this awesomeness.
And talking about like the structure of like you learning, the difference with the pot still and continuous still, going to Mexico, seeing the process of the mezcal making, and then as a person, I think you have a different understanding of what goes behind, the process for the bottle. And then the same thing happens with, for Negroni, you understand, or you learn more about all the ingredients that go behind it. And also not all the ingredients, like a little bit of the culture that it's behind it. Because I always say this, every bottle has a little bit of culture behind it. We don't really see it. But if you talk about rums, you can talk rums about different places of the world, and you learn about a little bit of that particular place, right? Agave is the same thing, whiskeys, amaros, but in this case, we want to know a little more about the Negroni, what the Phony Negroni is all about. And we also like the audience to know what's Phony Negroni, what's St. Agrestis, non-alcoholic.
Yeah.
You can give us a little bit of a...
Yeah, definitely. Lucky to have learned a bunch about this brand in a short time. Obviously, it's my job to know. But St. Agrestis, a lot of people don't know, started with spirits, which are not nationally available. Luckily, our NA line is nationally available. And also, should I pour this while we...
Yeah.
We'll get this going while I chat, and we'll dive in deeper. So the company had started with the Amaro in 2015. And then one of the owners had gone to BCB in Berlin, kind of saw that the NA scene was taking off over there and was like, we got to get on this. So it's really cool. Back to appreciating the science behind everything. The owners really took their time. Did I do it? Okay, everyone's got a pretty even amount.
Perfect, yeah.
That sounds nice. Which I'll also dive into why there's a touch of CO2 and nitrogen. We know a boozy Negroni doesn't have CO2, but there is science behind that as well. You know what?
I can take it.
Thank you.
I'm going to put it right here so people can see what we're drinking.
Perfect.
So let's cheers.
Let's cheers.
Salud.
Salud. Chelsey, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much for having me.
The fact that you're here sharing your story with us also.
Thank you so much.
I can't believe I have a story to tell. I can't believe I've come this far. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Another pinch me.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Salud.
salud. Thank you so much.
Salud. This stuff is pretty good.
Oh my God, yeah.
It still kind of blows my mind that we're drinking an NA drink.
That's okay.
So the owners looked at old perfumer logs and how perfumers were extracting botanicals. They really did a deep dive into the best possible way and went through many iterations over years and years, even down to the bottle, and thinking about, how much pressure you need and how the height affects the pressure and all of these things. So this is a custom-made bottle. So I just appreciate all the thought that they put in behind it and that I get to kind of tell the story as well. We have a pot still in Greenpoint, Brooklyn. It's a local product. And what we're doing It's really cool. The pot still, we can actually adjust the pressure of the pot still. So it's 30 different herbs and botanicals that are individually distilled, and we can adjust the pressure for each. So that way, one, herb doesn't get too astringent because they obviously react differently.
Exactly.
You can guess a lot of the obvious ingredients and herbs, or I should say herbs and botanicals that we're using. They keep a lot of it secret. There are 30 different ones. I honestly don't know all of them. But we are.
Damn it! I was gonna pressure. Tell me.
I know. They're keeping the secret tight to the vest, and I don't blame them. But again, you know what's in gin, you know what's in sweet vermouth, you know what's in an aperitivo style, Campari. So we're not making an NA gin and then an NA sweet vermouth. We're just extracting all those things that you would find in there, you putting them through the pot still. Obviously, there's no fermentation or anything like that. No alcohol is forming. But it's, kind of cool. There's, juniper, coriander, citrus. In vermouth, you're going to, find we're using almost like a inspiration. That's the word I want. Inspiration of like a Torino style. So there's definitely some vanilla. But I also appreciate that they took the time to give attention to the fact that it's all natural coloring. We're using hibiscus. And then over the years, they've obviously come out with a bunch of iterations. We're drinking the most recent one.
Oh. Yeah, I was going to ask you because I haven't seen this anywhere yet. Well, I've seen it at a few places actually, but yeah, like I haven't tasted it.
Just came out this year, so I think they spent a total of about 4 years going over this. The original Phony Negroni came out in 2021, and then they continue to come up with a bunch of brilliant ideas. Like this is really cool. The mezcal variation. There's the same 30 herbs and botanicals, except there's no juniper, since we're not trying to emulate gin. Instead, we're getting nopales from Mexico, which is cactus. And then the owners built their own modified smoker, and we smoked the nopales ourselves. Super cool. The nopales have a similar vegetal quality to agave. So it's just, really fun, really nerdy. But the Phony White Negroni, like I said, just came out this year and has quickly become a formidable opponent to the original. Like you said, you've seen it around, but it's not fully known yet. And a lot of people, I wonder how many hospitality listeners or non-hospitality listeners we have that don't know what a white Negroni is. I don't know.
Can you do the specs for?
If I should dive in,
of course, please.
But white Negroni is still gin. We're not using vermouth or Campari or a aperitivo style bitter. So instead, Suze is usually what's coming into play. I know people do have variations, so let me not say that there's an absolute right or wrong. Not here to tell anyone how to live their life. Because I also know a lot of people, instead of sweet vermouth, are going to use either Koki. Some people use Lillet. So I've, yeah, exactly. So I've heard, and I don't think there's any right or wrong answer. Whatever makes you happy, whatever you want in your program. But a white Negroni is generally a lighter and brighter Negroni variation. So that's what we've got here. A little lighter, brighter, more citrusy. Yeah, but still has the gentian root bitterness coming forward.
You can see it is white.
And if you are, if some of the folks have tasted a classic white Negroni, I think this is a perfect way to go in terms of quality and flavors are very similar. Of course, you're not gonna have that lingering sensation, because there's no booze, but still you have your bitter notes, which is what makes a Negroni. But it's not as bitter as some people think, because people sometimes are scared of bitterness. I think it's a good palate. If you have coffee, if you have black coffee, this is how I put it. If you have black coffee, there's slightly bitterness. You add a little bit of sugar, and it adds a balance.
Exactly.
So this is the perfect way to taste it. Like if you guys drink coffee, everybody drinks coffee, right?
Yeah, I remember when I started working in the industry, and I didn't drink, but someone was like, I was looking at people drinking and making sub cocktails, and I said, I don't know, what do you recommend me? And he was like, oh, something I think it's easy. Let's have a Negroni. And I was like, okay. And I tried it, and I was like, oh my God, this is so bad. It's so bitter. But eventually, when you train your palate and you start drinking, if you want to drink, it became one of my favorite drinks. I love it.
It's crazy how that changes, right? I used to hate wine, and then I was like, oh, no, wait.
Yeah.
So this is actually good. So coffee as well. I think you definitely develop a palate for these things. But a lot of people are like, oh, I don't really like Negronis. And I think the variations come into play really well for the people who don't like a classic Negroni. They'll end up loving the other ones. So, try to have something for everyone.
Yeah. I personally like a lot the espresso because I'm, like I mentioned before, I love coffee and I love that kind of like profile of coffee by itself. But I'm sure for others it's going to be probably the Mezcal Negroni.
What we have
funny.
here?
You never this sells like crazy at a agave focus spot in Flatiron. So it kind of depends. This does really well in cafes, I'll give a little brief tidbit about this, like you said, because you like coffee, caffeine. We're keeping it local. We're getting beans from Stumptown. We cold steep the beans, and so it does impart caffeine in here. So there's 100 milligrams of caffeine per bottle, and a lot of people are like, oh, espresso Negroni, you don't really see that, and you don't see it often here. You will see it more around Italy. And I think, a great NA way to get your caffeine mocktail, instead of, I think a lot of people drink espresso martinis for the caffeine. Not the same flavor profile, but a great way to have an NA drink.
Yeah, it's just a touch
get some caffeine. And then, just when you think another Negroni, we've got an NA Amaro, which have you gotten to try? This one?
I have not.
I have.
Well,
not.
you're keeping it anyway, so this is for you.
Yeah.
Goodies for us.
You got a gift.
But yeah, so, as I said, the company started with an Amaro. Very baking spice, wintry, forward, but delicious to drink in all seasons. I love to drink it by itself, but this can also be a great modifier for low ABV or anything like that. Very sarsaparilla forward.
Okay.
But also other baking spices, cinnamon, clove.
Which I love Sarsaparilla. Yeah, I can. I don't know why, but I love it because it has this vanilla profile, and it's very, very. I love it because it has like vanilla, little botanical flavor. I love it. Sarsaparilla.
Yeah,
Sarsaparilla.
and I'm glad that you mentioned that you can use this as an addition for a low ABV cocktail, because that's what we mentioned in the previous episode. It's like, just because you're drinking something that is low proof or non-alcoholic doesn't mean that it's going to impart a different texture or different profile also. It depends on what the bartender or you as a person like. But exploring things, I think, is the most important thing. Like, if you haven't tried any of the Negroni variations that are here, you can also go to a liquor store, probably find it there. You could probably find it somewhere else's.
Well, small technicality. For liquor stores, technically through the SLA, or because of the SLA, the State Liquor Authority, liquor stores in New York State anyway, I don't know about we are sold nationally, and I don't know about the laws in every state. But here, liquor stores can't sell NA product. Like, you can't even get a mixer. You can't get club soda in a liquor store, none of that. So we are sold more we're in Targets, we're in Whole Foods, we're in, more grocery style places because, unfortunately, legally, we can't be sold in liquor stores. And again, at least in New York, I unfortunately don't know the national details.
But it makes sense, right? Like, if you're selling liquor, why you're selling non-liquor?
Yeah, I don't know how they came about that decision for that law, to be quite honest. I'm sure there is a very good reason. But yeah, I would do tastings for Agua Mexica, and that's when I really caught on, because people all the time would come in and buy, and then they'd want their ginger ale or club soda, and then they'd always have to direct them to the grocery next door. And I was like, that's very interesting. And again, I don't know how it came about, but it is what it is.
It could be, kind of preventing, because some people are, getting out of the addiction or something, and they want to go there, and then you go to a liquor store. It could be tempting. So maybe you can comment, and we can find the answer.
Help us understand what we're talking about.
Yeah, I know someone out there is literally telling the answer at the screen right now. They're like,
I know that.
Yes. Yeah. So I'm sure we'll learn very quickly.
Yeah.
So a quick question: why the name?
Okay, so, St. Agrestis is a made-up saint, but Agrestis is Latin, and it refers to of the land or of nature. And since we are using, all natural herbs and botanicals, there's also nothing artificial, I should mention. It's all natural cane sugar. And we're sourcing the herbs and botanicals from around the world. So, yeah, that, but St. Agrestis is not a patron saint of anything. But we do have a cute little logo with what looks like we've, are paying homage to a saint that actually existed. But
yeah, it's really cute, actually.
Yeah, she's pretty cool.
And also, you were mentioning that it has something to do with the CO2 on a.
Yes, I had that in the back of my mind. I was like, I can't forget. Not to, get too pitchy, but I think it's fun to nerd out about this. And there was a few reasons as to why they put the CO2, and there's also a touch of nitrogen in there because the nitrogen gives it a little bit of depth. But one, just to kind of give the same mouthfeel and bite of a boozy Negroni. And then it also kind of helps slow down the drinking process. So if you are at the bar with a buddy who's having an alcoholic cocktail and you are having your NA, you're having your phony Negroni, the bubbles kind of help slow down. You're not just like chugging it. Mm-hmm. So, and it's such a scant amount because I know some people just don't like carbonation at all. But after 5 minutes, you can't even detect the bubbles anymore. It's all dissolved in there. It's done its job. It's, again, it's just for a little mouthfeel and to kind of, just slow the process. So for everyone who's like, why are you doing that? A Negroni doesn't have CO2. It was a thoughtful process.
I think it's a good addition, honestly, because when I tasted it, when I first had it, I was like, oh, wow, this bubbles kind of give. And also the bubbles, as they burst, they kind of release aromas. So it's just like, I think that's what they did it.
And how good did that sound on the mic?
Exactly.
It was nice.
When you put it closer to your nose and then to your mouth, like, remember the first thing we get is aromas and then we taste. The second thing, I mean, if you want to taste a spirit or an alcoholic spirit, always close your nose or try not to inhale and then have a little, kind of like kiss it, like you kiss of the lip, kind of wet your lips so acclimate your palate or get some of those nuances in the back of your brain and then you take a big sip. But yeah, I think that's probably what I'm thinking the reason is because when they're bursting, they kind of like releasing all these aromas and you talk about all these different botanicals and somehow, somewhere in the memory, in the back of your brain, you're going to be like, oh, this cinnamon, or this peels, something.
So true.
Like a wine. But also, for me, the first time I saw Funny Negroni, I love it. Because I drink, but I don't drink that much. I'm like someone called me a cheap date because I will get like one or two the most. But also, it sounds like, you feel like you're eating like an adult soda. You don't want to have like those super like just sweet and colorful, but this is like more like adult flavors. Like
and the bottle shape, I think everything is thought up perfectly for all of us, the consumers, and also for like if this is the market for a lot of people who doesn't drink or who is not into the service industry. For the bartenders, we kind of like appreciate the time that they put into the bottling because also like. That presentation is amazing.
It's beautiful.
I mean, it looks beautiful.
Yeah, we're trying to make your lives so much easier. You can save on prep via, less labor, less waste. And just down to like, I know some people have accidentally been served alcohol. It happens. It's an honest mistake. But just the peace of mind of reading this on the bottle. Granted, you also have some guests who don't want people to know they're not drinking. Like how many, pregnant women have been like, okay, I don't want my coworkers to know that I'm pregnant right now. Obviously, they're going to tell you because they're never going to see you again. Mm-hmm. But, there are those some incognito moments. But in general, people, really love that peace of mind. So, we're really trying to make your lives easier with a quality product. Like they really nerded out with it. And
it's amazing. So how long have you been working with these guys now?
I just had my 1 year anniversary.
Yay! Clap.
Happy birthday to you.
Crazy that it flew by. It's insane. My coworker just had his 2 year anniversary. So
Sam?
Yeah, me and Sam have been. Yeah, you know Sam. Sam's amazing.
Shout out to Sam also. Sam.
Yes, shout out to Sam. Shout out to the whole company. The owners, Steven, Louie, Matt. I mean, everyone behind the scenes on production that worked the line. I mean, obviously, without any of them, we wouldn't be doing this. But it's so cool that I get to go to the distillery, which hopefully, I mean, I know also people are going to be like, can we come visit? The pandemic ruined everything.
I was going to ask you because I remember, I don't remember, but I remember seeing a video where they had a bar, and, when they first came out with the Funny Negroni, actually, and then, he came out with with an Amaro, the Paradiso. He was talking about the 13 different botanicals and all whatnot. So that's what caught my attention. The first time I saw it, I was like, oh, interesting.
Right. Yeah. So maybe hopefully one day again, we're not ruling out the possibility, but right now I think we need more space. We're lucky to be growing exponentially. But yeah, never say never.
Yeah, of course.
But unfortunately right now, I am one of the lucky ones to get to go, and I wish I could take everyone with me, hopefully. But we do, I will say, have really cool educational stuff on our Instagram page that one of our owners is constantly talking about. Like, you'll hear him talk about the CO2 or, just different cool things.
So we're going to put the Instagram handles here, but for whoever is not watching right now, YouTube, can you tell the audience your Instagram handle?
Yes. So it is Quinn, QUINN _Chels, CHELS, which I think throws a lot of people off because my last name's not Quinn. My last name is very Danish.
Oh.
And people think I'm Irish, and I'm like, I'm just here to keep you on your toes, So yeah, but yeah, Quinn _Chels, and then oh my gosh, the St. Agrestis is, I think it's ST _AGRESTIS. I know I'm spelling it right.
Yes.
But I'm really paranoid about where that underscore is right now.
We'll find it.
I'm a bad employee. Oh no! Oh no!
Don't worry about it.
But if you search it, you will easily find it. That's
we
for
will
sure.
Definitely, yes. Oh my God, I was going to say something.
I mean, I could just toot Dry January's horn a little bit and just, I think embracing kind of I know a lot of people are like, oh, Dry January is, so annoying because they lose money. But I think if you embrace products like this and, not just the Phony Negroni, but other things, is what's going to get people, coming to your bar still. And even beyond Dry January, like I mentioned, like pregnant women, well, we need something for them all the time. Someone might be on medication and just can't drink for that month or whatever it may be. I think, it's just a great thing to embrace and give those options and hopefully just keep boosting business by embracing it. So, I'm not a full participant, but I think it's a great thing. And
and I like we always said as well, like NAI, for example, St. Agrestis, they have a lot of profile flavors that you can add to alcoholic cocktail, and the bubbles also helps to keeps the air aromatics out. So it's an addition.
People will make NA espresso martinis with either both of these or one of these, and it's easy whip shake. So it's ready to serve, and you could save yourself time, or you could, modify,
And it doesn't necessarily have to be Dry January, because now what I was thinking actually, it was like this white Negroni will be the Phony Negroni will be a really good addition if you at the beach, like sometime during the summer. If you go to the park and sit down and read the book at the beginning of spring, open up maybe one of those bottles, and the cops are not going to come to you like, hey, what you drinking?
That actually did happen to a friend who was drinking some Phony Negronis in the street. I had gone to, I don't know if you're in the Spirited Ladies group, but also another shout out to Spirited Ladies and the women who have put that together. You guys are awesome. But yeah, I went to a meeting with that, and I had brought a bunch of Phony Negronis, and we had some extras. So I gave 4 to this one girl who's sober, and her friends are sober, and they were drinking them in the street, and the cops came up and were like, you can't have alcohol. And they're like, it's not.
Guess what?
Guess what?
So that's how good the bottles look.
Yeah.
No, and they looked amazing. I mean, from a distance, you can actually tell, oh, it's probably but no, it's amazing.
But thank you so much for coming. This is a very, very good education. We are happy to try, especially the new addition of the Funny White Negroni. But before we go, I have a question for you. Since you're from Florida,
dun dun dun.
Do you want to do the question?
I want to let you ask the question.
So, what is your go when you go to your deli? What is your sandwich?
What's to-go sandwich?
Yeah.
I mean, I gotta say, I am a sucker for a chopped cheese. I love a chopped cheese. And I've had many variations, and I've had many bad ones and many good ones. I know a lot of people have now started to say, I don't know, put some shame on it that it's just so basic. I'm like, but you know what? At the end of a shift, because that's really when I was going to the deli. Now I guess the times have changed, and it's more bacon, egg, and cheese now that I'm an early bird. But I don't know, something about after a shift, drunk or not, whether I was coming home, stone sober, but at like 3, 4 a.m., seeing the guy, same guy every night, something special about that.
So this is a New York thing, right? Can you tell the audience who is in non-New York what it is?
A lot of people do it differently, but chopped cheese is, just a ground meat with, generally just a cheddar cheese. I guess you'll see different variations. People fancy it up, and a little like white sauce, ketchup, maybe some pepper and onion, but and on a roll, and just that's pretty much it.
Yeah, like you say, like if you live in New York and you haven't had a bagel with coffee, or if you haven't had a ham, egg, and cheese in the morning, or bacon, egg, and cheese, or just a egg and cheese sandwich, or a BLT, which is like our favorite, it's like you need to taste them when you come to New York. And you also need to taste the Four Negronis. So if you reach out to Chelsey, make sure you are asking to taste at your bar, to train your staff. You need to train your staff, and I'm sure she's gonna be
happy to do it.
Fire up.
Truly, like I said, it's like another pinch me moment that I get to do this, because I really did not see it coming, and I didn't see how rewarding and cool and interesting, and I'm never bored. Yeah. And it's pretty amazing, and And
then we keep learning. That's a good thing about it. Yeah. We keep on learning.
Never will not be learning.
Yes.
Every day, some new wisdom comes, and I'm not even looking sometimes, and it's amazing. And then I get to, do cool things like this. And thank you for doing this for the community.
No, thank you.
I've been listening to them, and
thank you for being part of this amazing project we had in mind a long time ago. Now it's, of course, this is the fruits of it. Thanks to Nuri also. I had to give the power to the people and the power to this lovely woman.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nuri, for another day, for another episode.
Yeah,
Chelsey, thank you for coming. Thank you for being part of this.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for your hospitality everywhere you go, and people who knows you, they know how good are you. And obviously, thank you everyone for watching us. Please subscribe, comment in Instagram, so you know that algorithm. My English is always between my thoughts.
You're crushing it. You're crushing it.
But yeah, if you help us with that, we can grow. And, don't forget to tip your bartenders. And please subscribe on YouTube and also comment. And also, if you want to donate, we have a application on the comments section that you can do buy a coffee. So please help us.
Help buy this guy a coffee, man. I don't have a coffee. Where's my? She has a coffee. I don't have a coffee. We need a coffee. Yeah. Thank you guys. Thank you for being part of this. We'll see you next week. And if you guys want for more episodes like this, go to our website, www.
Bar Talking Bar NYC.com.
Yay!
Okay, bye.
Hasta la vista, baby.
Hasta la vista, chicos and chicas and chiques. Bye.
Bye.